Anne is actually one of the kindest and most gentle people I've ever met. I've never heard her speak a word of hatred about anyone, even before she's spoken at hundreds of schools. She's been traveled to other states to speak and talk about her experience.
Well, she told the kids. They were on the flatbed truck and they knew where it was going to go, into the forest, and they knew it was a death sentence. And twice her parents were very proactive. Her father glanced at the man who was in charge of growing herbs, and he had offered his help because he knew a lot about it, the importance of that. And he looked over at him and he said, "Couldn't you still use my help?" The second time it saved them was her mother. Someone came up to her and said, "The Nazi commandant wants dresses made for his wife. I was told you're the seamstress in town." Mm-hmm. "Well, you can get off the truck." It had to be the whole family, obviously. And she went to look for her sewing machine. Well, of course, it was gone. Everything in the house had been taken away. Everything. There was nothing in there but bare walls. And she went to the warehouse where her sewing machine had been taken, along with everything else. And as she was getting close, she heard her neighbor say to the man in charge at the warehouse, "I know Eva would want me to have that sewing machine because she was my best friend." Eva walked in and said, "I just heard you call me your best friend. Where were you when I had had a baby and they took our cow away? And you never offered us anything." The next day, there was a jug of milk and a loaf of bread at her back door. And I said to Anne, when she told it one time, I could hear the kids hanging on every word because they could identify with that story.
You know, the more we have social media, the more we have digital communication, we start to lose the person on the other end. And I think one of her strong messages is to not lose the other person, to not lose the face, the personality, the individualism, and the humanity of whoever you're interacting with.
We've been trying to get a Holocaust education bill passed for decades. I can tell you, fast forward to 2020, Anne was invited down to the Delaware State Legislature to speak. Her speech just was incredible. At that point, I knew, and a lot of us knew, that bill was going to be passed because of her words.
If you don't have a personal face to that story, it's so much easier just to push it off as some other time. That would never happen now. You know, it takes a really strong, really insightful person to be able to take that sort of trauma and find the hope in it and then be able to share that with others.
Just staying alive and trying to survive through genocide is a form of resistance. So not only has Anne been courageous, passionate, and selfless in sharing her experience over decades, it also is a form of resistance to let people know, you know, you can resist, you know, you need to resist. So she is really a hero, and I'm delighted that she's finally been inducted into the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame.